How much protein do I actually need? This sounds like a simple question, but it's one of the most misunderstood questions in nutrition. Most people think they already know the answer. They've seen a number, they've heard it repeated, and they assume that if they're somewhere near it, they're covered. In reality, many people are asking one question and receiving the answer to a different one. When official guidelines talk about protein needs, they are usually answering a very narrow question. What is the minimum amount required to avoid deficiency? Most people asking the question mean something else entirely. They want to know how much protein supports muscle, how much helps recovery, how much allows them to stay strong and functional as they age. Those are not the same questions, and they do not have the same answers. Protein is not primarily fuel, it is structural material. Your body is constantly breaking down and rebuilding tissue. This process never stops. Muscle protein breakdown and muscle protein synthesis occur every day, whether you exercise or not. The balance between those two processes determines whether muscle is maintained, gained, or lost. Protein intake is one of the main inputs that shifts that balance. If intake is sufficient, synthesis can meet or exceed breakdown. If intake is insufficient, breakdown gradually wins. This happens slowly, quietly, often without obvious symptoms at first. Physical activity changes this equation. Resistance training creates mechanical stress in muscle tissue. That stress is the signal that tells the body adaptation is required. But a signal without raw material cannot be acted on. If amino acids are not available, the body cannot rebuild what was stressed. The training stimulus is present, but the adaptation is limited. This is why people can train consistently and still stagnate. The problem is not effort, it is supply. Protein needs rise with training, not fall. This creates a common real-world mismatch. Training volume stays the same. Calories are reduced slightly. Protein intake drifts downward without notice. Nothing feels wrong at first. But over time, recovery worsens. Strength plateaus. Fatigue shows up earlier in workouts. These changes are often blamed on age, hormones, or motivation. Protein intake is rarely reconsidered. Age then amplifies this problem. As people get older, muscle tissue becomes less responsive to protein intake. This is known as anabolic resistance. The same amount of protein that once maintained muscle is no longer enough to stimulate the same response. The threshold is higher. More protein per meal is often required. Yet many people eat less protein as they age, not more. Appetite declines. Meals get smaller. Calories are restricted. From the outside, this often looks healthy. Internally, muscle maintenance becomes more difficult. Hunger cues are unreliable here. Protein is highly satiating. You can feel full long before you've eaten enough to support muscle tissue. This is especially common in people who eat mostly whole foods, prioritize vegetables, or diet frequently for weight control. The diet looks clean. The intake looks reasonable. But protein quietly falls short. So what does this mean in practice? If your goal is to preserve or build lean mass, protein intake needs to scale with body size, activity, and age. And it needs to be distributed in a way that actually stimulates muscle protein synthesis. In practice, many people do best with 3 or 4 protein anchor meals per day. Each meal contains a meaningful amount of protein, not just a token amount. A small serving of yogurt at breakfast might be healthy. But if it doesn't reach a muscle-stimulating protein dose, it won't do much for lean mass. The same is true for a salad with a few nuts or seeds. This is where people get surprised. They are eating healthy foods, but they are not eating enough protein to support muscle. When calories are low, this matters even more. Dieting already biases the body toward conserving energy. Adequate protein is what helps protect lean mass while fat is lost. Muscle loss is not inevitable. It is largely a reflection of stimulus and supply. The real question is not whether you're eating enough protein according to a chart. The question is whether your intake supports the demands you place on your body. In the next episode, we'll look at where the protein RDA actually came from and why it answers a very different question than most people think it does. This is protein truth.